I will slacken up this reel's clutch just by 3 or 4 clicks now. And that can be the difference when it comes to landing the fish and losing it. So in this episode I will demonstrate how to improve any reel's clutch by replacing washers which are in any reel's drag system. Before going any further, I have to mention that I quite like those DAIWA LT series reels. They are quite good in my opinion and I quite like to fish using them. For example, I have a ballistic LT 2000 here and Fuego 2500, yeah. And even though they are very nice reels to fish with, as I mentioned, but they have the same problem. The drag is not very good at all, I would say, especially when you are fishing with light lines and when you hook that big fish, the clutch is not really reliable. I would say it's very sticky, so you have to mess about and you are sweating all the time when you are playing that big fish on light tackle. I would say that, for example, Shimano Stradics do have a little bit better drag just in the reels out of the box. It's not perfect, but it's better than LT series, or at least the ones I tried, so Fuego and Ballistic. Anyway, to improve the drag on any reel, it's very simple actually. All you do is replace the felt washers with carbon ones, and the performance is just really many times better. So let's have a quick look how to do that. So the steps are very simple. Basically all I will do, I will remove the spool from the reel. And we'll put the reel itself just aside. And this is where all the washers are inside. So the best way to go about removing all those washers is just by using small pliers. You have to remember that the spring can be lost very easy, or it can pierce your eye or something like that. So you are better off just by using little pliers and always keeping the control of that spring. And here it is, it's out. Also, I would advise to use like a plain sheet of paper, because obviously it will be a little bit oily or greasy, so you don't want to mess your surfaces. Okay, that's the spring out, as you can see. Then I will use a small flat type screwdriver just to remove all the drag system. So it will have 3 of them felt washers, as you can see, and then 3 aluminum washers. Also, I would advise just to clean the spool itself as well. Now, it's very important to measure those washers very accurately actually before ordering them. All you do is just take one of them metal ones and measure them, because they should be the same size as those felt ones. As you can see, it's getting pretty sticky already. So as you can see, they are exactly the same size. So if you will measure the external diameter of these, write it down, then the internal diameter as well. And also this one might be a little bit tricky, because you will have to measure the thickness of the felt as well. But I would say for DAIWA and SHIMANO reels, I tried, the best thickness is about 0.7. And once you have all those measurements, for example, what I did was I written down the bunch of those washers I need for different reels. For example, DAIWA Ballistic, LT2000, SHIMANO Stradic FB 2500, DAIWA Fuego, SHIMANO Stradic 4000, etc. And then I just ordered them as I needed them. Now, once you order them, they will arrive in a nice little packet, just as this one. I will grab 3 out. So those are more or less the same size as those felt ones. They are a little bit smaller because I couldn't find the exact size. And I will leave the link in the description below where to find these Carbontex washers. Okay, so all you do now is just place those carbon washers inside, but you want to use some grease. It's very important to use not real oil but grease. And it's very simple really. You just apply quite a bit of that grease on the spool itself. Then you place the first carbon washer, squeeze it down a little bit, more grease on top. Then I will put this one because that was the first one. Then I will put a little bit more grease on this aluminum washer as well. I'm quite generous with the grease because I think you can't overdo with the grease really when it comes to the drag. Now I will put another carbon washer, squeeze it down a little bit. Some people are saying that you need to like rub the grease in with the fingers. I don't think that you do really, because the grease will spread itself where it needs to. It's better to have a little bit more than less. Now goes another. This one, as you can see, he has like a cross ridges, so you have to align this with the ones in the spool itself. Yeah, that went in beautifully. More grease goes on top. Oh, and I will leave the link for this grease as well. This one is from AliExpress and I did find it's perfect and it's very cheap as well. You don't have to save it really. It's better to have more cheaper grease than less super expensive one. Of course it will depend on the situation, but if you are buying like not super expensive reels, I much prefer to have lots and lots of good quality cheaper oils than, as I said, some super duper expensive one. And then I will put the last carbon washer. More grease goes on top. Maybe it looks a little bit messy, but it will look nice once all the washers will be in place. Now the last washer. Squeeze it down and the spring goes inside as well. Okay, all done. Now all I will do, I will clean that excess of the grease just with some tissue. And it's actually quite good that this grease is blue in color. You can see it quite well. It's not like clear or anything. You can see whether you apply it and how much of it you applied. So that's a plus for me as well. And that's it. The spool and the drag system is upgraded now. Let's put it back onto the reel and see how it will perform. Oh yeah. I can tell immediately that the drag reacts much quicker to every click. Oh yeah, that's a one. Beautiful. And it took only probably a couple minutes to do that. Even though I was talking a lot, if you would do it like quickly, you can replace it in a minute, I guess. Of course, it will take some time to measure the washers and then purchase them and then wait until they will arrive. But still, in my opinion, if you like fishing with light lines, this upgrade is a must for those LT reels, I believe, because it increases reels performance many times. And it will be it from me for today. I hope you will find this video useful. If you will decide to upgrade your reels yourself, please use those links in the description below for those carbon washers. Just don't forget to measure properly before placing the order. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.